Now, the second point, so how do you protect your cloud? I believe none, actually, I can be sure about this, that none of the startups here maintain their own data centers, and it's not really worth maintaining your data centers at this stage. So everybody is using cloud. What one of the major misconceptions I have heard with founders or even technical teams is that, hey, we are on cloud, so all of the security is taken care by cloud. Now, this can't be far from truth. The thing is, if you go to any of the cloud, right, AWS, Microsoft, Azure, or Google Cloud, they specifically mention that that security is a shared responsibility. Now, what that really means is, let's say once you have created a virtual machine, right? Let's say EC2 in case of AWS. Now, at the time of creation, whatever EC2 that you have created is pristine. It's perfect. They have made sure that there are no major security vulnerabilities there. But so till then, it is AWS's responsibility to secure your system. From there on, whatever softwares that you may have installed, whatever libraries that you may install to run your applications, all of those things are the responsibility of the customer. AWS will not take the responsibility, or any Google Cloud or Microsoft will not take the security responsibility from there on. And there is a perfectly logical reason for it, because let's say, if you are aware of the Log4j vulnerability, the only patch for Log4j vulnerability was to upgrade your Log4j version. Now imagine if AWS took cognizance of it and automatically updated your Log4j. What happens in that case? There's a high probability your existing application would break, right? So that's why they wouldn't meddle much with your infra. And that's why cloud security is a shared responsibility. The first part, when they are giving you a resource on cloud, at that time it is secured. Post that, however you configure it, or however you use it, it is user's responsibility. So you cannot rely completely on cloud that, hey, I'm on cloud, so I'm secure. So what are the things that you can do there? The first one is role-based authorization. Basically, only give that much access to your developers as much as they need. If a developer just needs to access certain resources, just give him a view access. Do not give him a create access. Similarly, the final, only one person in the team, usually that's the senior most technical person or the CTO, only they are supposed to have the complete root access. So do not share root access across all the engineers. Recently, AWS has come up with which it's currently in progress, where it is trying to move all the buckets back to the private, and it's asking you for a confirmation whether you want a certain bucket to be public or not. So I think that's a good step, but still it's essential that your team is aware of the buckets that you want to be public. Rest everything should be private by default. Network configuration would be another thing that you would want to check. In terms of AWS, I would say this is called security groups, where just make sure that only those ports are open which you really need, and just block access to all other ports, because ports are the easiest ways where a bad guy can enter into your system, or a bad guy can get information about your system. So just making sure your network configuration is right, and performing some scanning of your EC2 machines or your virtual machines in case of Azure, or you call it compute engine in case of Google Cloud. Running at least once a month a vulnerability scanner on your EC2 instances, so that you know what are the latest vulnerabilities, because new vulnerabilities are getting generated every single hour, right? So on an average in a day, about 200 to 300 new security vulnerabilities are reported. So it's obviously not possible to fix and patch all of them. But what you need to be checking out is there any vulnerability that is very critical and that is being exploited heavily around the internet. So what you need to be checking is for those kind of few vulnerabilities, and the best way to do that is to scan for your virtual machines. SecOps has its own proprietary scanner that helps you check for all of these vulnerabilities in a real quick time.